Hey everybody, Stacy here. Super excited. I have on Dr. World. She's going to come on. She's going to talk all about the amazing things she's been doing this year as the very first Dr. World ever. And we're going to talk about being sister queens and all the things that she's doing with this amazing thing called pageantry and all the crazy that comes with it. So stay with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hey everybody, Stacy here. So excited for today's special edition. I get to interview my sister queen who I haven't even really been able to speak to, so I'm super excited to be able to talk to her, get to know her, Dr. World. And she's going to tell us all about all of the things that she's been doing and all the things she plans to do with her title and things past that. But before we do that, let's just make sure we go into Pageantry Now, all the things that we are trying to do. We're all about positivity in pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things that title holders are doing using a crown and a sash to change their world. Please, if you're watching, give us a shout out, say hello, make sure that you ask questions if you want to, make us feel loved, but make sure you keep everything PG because we do have teenagers that watch. And as the comments come in, I will throw them up on the screen so you guys can see them and read them. And then if you've got questions specifically for Angel, please ask them. Like I said, we'll try to get through them if we can. I know she's having a little bit of technical issues, so let's get this thing going. Here we go. Hi, gorgeous!
So nice to finally get a chance to sit down and speak with each other. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. So congratulations. Like we've chatted, but we really haven't gotten to know each other. But introduce yourself to everybody so they know who you are.
Absolutely. But first of all, I wanted to say a big congratulations to you as well, Stacey, for your title. And I'm so excited for you. And I am so impressed by a lot of the work that you're already doing and can't wait to see what else you're going to be accomplishing next in your reign. So to give you just a little bit background on myself, hi, everybody. I'm Angel in Canada. I have been involved in pageantry for the last 2 decades and definitely appreciate every little bit of it because I think it fosters leadership, teamwork, and well-rounded women. And so a little bit about me, I was raised by my mother and my grandmother, and my grandmother was my biggest inspiration. She and I were very, very close. We actually shared, the same bedroom and up until the age of 15. And it was really, my grandmother inspired so much for me and also for education as well. So as I mentioned earlier, my mom and my grandmother raised me, but both of my mom and my grandmother did not have equal access to an education. They were both born in India. My grandmother was illiterate and my mother was pulled out of middle school. So for me, recognizing that equal access to education is not something that every single woman still receives to this day made it very important for me to pursue my education because my education not only represented education for myself, but it was education that my mother and my grandmother equally deserved to have as well. During pharmacy school, it was not a walk in the park. The program was quite difficult, and I'm sure you could relate to this as well, Stacey, but my grandmother and I, we reversed roles. So when I was younger, she raised me, but as I got older and she got older, the roles reversed. My grandmother had significant end stages of CHF, heart failure, so chronic heart failure, and it was so difficult. I remember there were days where I was writing final exams, but my grandmother would have an exacerbation, and so I would be at the hospital in the ER with her. There were significant weeks that we spent in the ICU, and it was really in that moment that I recognized that I wanted to be a pharmacist so that I could change the level of care and really treat each and every patient just like the way I wanted my grandmother to have been treated. And, pageantry is so interesting because I think that today and in modern day pageantry, it's being recognized to see women so much more than a beautiful face, so much more than somebody who can walk and kill it on the runway. It's really somebody who's able to relate and just be vulnerable, but also show how others can also overcome some of their challenges and be empowered by that while helping others.
Wow. Okay, you got me already. As you've probably already seen watching the videos, I cry very easily, but that's very emotional. And and I do know what you have gone through with your experience with your grandmother. I always, every day is a challenge. As a survivor of heart failure, I know it will not get better. It can be moderately changed, but there are good days and there are bad days, and all it takes is, eating one thing accidentally, and then the whole, it's like a chemistry experiment. It just falls apart. So that has to be super, inspiring that you chose to go into pharmacy because you realize that is such a huge part of all of this, that it really is all about how do you make the magical combination of medication so that it makes it best for the care of the patient. And I know fully how difficult that is, and how, people think it's so funny because I have alarms on my phone that go, up, time to take your meds. And if I'm off by an hour, it makes a difference. And people don't recognize how important that is, and how important it is to be able to stay on top of that. So I think that is, oh, my heart, because I feel you. Oh my gosh. So let's talk a little bit about, well, should I ask you the silly question first, and then we can go to the more serious and then the silly. So, do you like frogs? Why or why not?
So I think we talked about this actually at our last call. I think that cartoon frogs are super cute, or like teddy bears, but I think that if I were to actually see a real frog in person, I would probably freak out and panic. It's funny because me and my other sister queen, Danica, we were in Aruba, and she was like all over the geckos and like taking photos, feeding them, and I was like freaked out, running away. So I definitely would probably be really terrified of frogs as well.
Yeah, I love frogs, but I'm terrified of snakes. But living in South Florida, we've got lizards everywhere, like the geckos. Like and I have conversations with mine. Like I know them by their coloring. And I was looking at one that always stares at me every morning, and I went, oh my gosh, he looks just like a snake, except he has legs. Why am I afraid of snakes? But definitely afraid of snakes. So there you go. And Aruba's got to be really, it must have been fun to have that experience, to go with Danica and go do the photo shoot and have fun, and maybe get away from, because I know you're in Canada, so you guys have really hard time with lockdown and everything that's been going on with that. So let's talk a little bit about how this experience has changed for you, maybe because of COVID and all of your reign has not been normal because of what's been going on. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I am in Canada, everything was fairly locked down, probably up until, it wasn't really up until like later on in June that things slowly started opening up. So most of my reign, unfortunately, was in a lockdown. So I was limited to virtual interviews. We did a virtual fundraiser for the Peasant Girl Initiative, where we did a professional development workshop for providing candidates with tips on their resumes, interviews. I've done many virtual podcast interviews from all over in India, Australia, Philippines, the US, Canada. I've judged the pageant virtually, but I kind of miss the fact that I didn't get to judge pageants in person or go to in-person events. And my reign's ending actually in September. So I was crowned in October, but my reign ends in September. So I think that I only had really maybe a good solid month left. And so hopefully, opportunities come for me before that ends. But I'm just trying to make the most of what I can do with the tools that I do have.
So tell me a little bit about the Aruba trip, because I know you got to go to get away. But did Michelle with you too, or was it you?
No, Danica and I had just decided that we were going to do a trip together anyways, and then I managed to get us a photo shoot planned out. So that's how that'll happen. So it was very spontaneous, and it was really nice to be able to meet her in person.
I'm jealous. I need to escape. And we're in Miami, so we're now on the epicenter in the United States. So I'm back to staying at home. It'll be so much fun again. It's only been 18 months. So, because right before the pandemic happened, I had my defibrillator replaced. So I was on bed rest, and then lockdown here in the States happened. I had that the first week of February, and then lockdown for us started in March. So I pretty much have been home for a while. So making the best out of it. I guess that's the thing that's been the hardest part, is like trying to come up with creative ways to be able to shift and flow. And I think to some degree it's been magical, because it's enabled us to be able to bond in ways that maybe we wouldn't be able to internationally. But on the same token, that idea of being able to go to a pageant, I was really looking forward to coming to Canada, and now I can't. So I'm like, oh, come on, people.
They changed it again, the rules. I thought they were opening up to the US.
They are, but not Miami, because we now really are. I think that we're at a 22% positivity rate right now.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
I'm not leaving. And honestly, it's more for everybody else's safety.
Yeah,
I'm vaccinated, so it's really so that I don't cause any harm or possibly, give it to somebody else. I just don't want to take that change. Oh, Nancy's on. I love you, Nancy. Thank you.
Hi, Nancy.
Have you in the Queens? Oh my goodness. All right. So why did you get involved in this crazy thing called pageantry? Like, why would you want to do this? Because it's bananas.
I started when I was 15 years old, like 20 years ago. And I think when you're a teen, you're just so inspired by the fact that it just seems magical, a dream, right? We grow up and we just love princesses. I love Disney anyway. And so I just thought the idea of being an ambassador or being a title holder seemed like so exciting. And so I think that my purposes for going into pageantry definitely changed from when I was a teen until I became an adult. It seemed more so, I recognized there was more of a purpose behind it, right? And I think that being a caregiver for my grandmother made me realize that I just wanted to be able to highlight the importance of caregivers, the importance of health, and the importance also of giving back to causes that are important to you. And I'm a huge feminist, so Because I'm a Girl initiative has been my charity of choice for many years. But each and every girl has their own story, and she has her own special initiative that's near and dear to her heart. And I think it's when there's those personal aspects of rawness connected to something that is so special to you, I think that's what makes pageantry so special. And I also coach girls too. So I think that through coaching, I've recognized that pageantry is not crazy at all. Pageantry is something so beautiful. And it's almost like an awakening for girls. Girls and women start to realize what their purpose is in life. And sometimes you're not able to find your purpose right away. So maybe as a teen, I didn't know that, but I definitely think that through pageantry, there's so much growth, there's so much development, and you really get to know who you are on a whole nother level. And I think that's why I love it. That's why I compete, but that's why I also coach women, because I love being a part of their aha moment when they realize, this is my why. This is why I'm doing this. And it's so magical.
That's so awesome. I started when I was 15, my first official pageant was when I was 16. So we're going on 40 years that I've been doing this.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and like my first big pageant was Florida Teen USA. So I didn't even like go little. I went like really big. And the great thing about it is that it really, I have Asperger's, so I really wasn't ready for that kind of experience. Although it was really magical. Like in fact, we've got followers that have sent me videos of when I was a teen competing, and I thought, did I really do that? Like, so it was really cool to be able to go back and have people go back to the archives and go, hey, look, this is what you look like. This is what that was like. This is what happened. And, I took a step away in my 20s. I was like, oh, I don't think this is for me. I don't think it wasn't resonating. It was that princess moment, fame, fortune, that whole idea of, I want to do this and be famous. Well, at 5'4", I'm not going to be a model. So that was part of that whole idea. And then after I was diagnosed with my cancer, I came back and I said, yeah, I think this resonates with me. I had a dream, I won. And then it just has stayed the same way. And PageantryNOW was built on that whole idea of being able to share stories. But I coach as well, but people don't know about it. Like, I don't talk about it. I don't have a business. I don't charge for it. I just do it. But let's talk a little bit about your clients. And actually, Nancy just threw this up. So hold on a second. She says, here's Dr. Angel's business and beauty podcast interview. Oh, Angel or Nancy, that's
sweet.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Nancy says she started at 16 too. See, it seems to be a pattern that some people they just, and then it's okay to be a short pageant queen for, see.
Cute. I love it. I'm not that, I'm only 5'5".
That's what we want. We want diversity. We want people of all statures, of all sizes, of all, backgrounds. That's really what makes pageantry, I think, so, like you were saying, empowering for women, and being a feminist too, because that was the other thing, and I'm sure you had this as well, coming across as being a feminist and going, oh, you do pageants? And is it like that in Canada? Can you tell me about that experience, Angel?
I think that there's always going to be people like that in any situation, right? So, I mean, I just brush it off, because at the end of the day, I think that external judgments aren't what dictate my belief. I believe that at the end of the day, pageantry is actually so empowering, and so many women use it as a tool to be proud of who they are, celebrate body diversity. And I like the swimsuit, and I know there's like debate on it, but I think swimsuit's very empowering. I think that it's great that I can go out there and be confident regardless of, what. It's more about your confidence. There's been competitions where I trained so hard and I didn't perform nearly as good as the ones where maybe my body wasn't as defined and I didn't have as much time to go to train, but it was more about how I felt inside. And I think it's more so celebrating ourselves and being able to recognize ourselves as more than just beauty on the outside, but also on the inside as well.
That really is what it should be about. To me, I feel like, and that's really what this system is about for both of us. I think now that I'm almost in my second week, oh my gosh, it goes too fast. It goes way too fast. I'm sorry, it's in a month, but I can't even imagine what it has to be like, because it just seems to snap. But let's talk a little bit about Dr. World, and let's talk about the areas of competition, and then also your experience as being the very first Dr. World and being part of that vision that Diana has to really empower women that make up 1% of the world. That's crazy. So tell me about the experience and a little bit about the system, please.
Yeah, so my good friend actually had sent me the pageant while Toronto was shut down and we couldn't really do anything. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to join this pageant. It's virtual and I'm literally in lockdown anyways. And so I decided to compete in the areas of competition where the field presentation, which is a video that's shot by the delegate herself about her area of her doctorate. And then there's also the evening gown portion, which is also shot by the delegate. And then there's also the interview, because it was in lockdown and we were also instructed to do our own videos, our own editing. Everything was kind of like a do-it-yourself project, including hair, including makeup. And like I said, we were locked down, so I didn't get a chance to go to any stores to find a dress, because stores were all closed as well in Toronto at the time. So I just happened to have an older pageant dress, and then I wore that. I, did a few takes of it, and I tried to learn how to edit in I think just a few hours, because I joined near the end of the actual deadline to participate. And then I did my interview and it was great. The interview felt very much so just like an in-person interview with the panel of judges. And it was just exactly what I expected it to be, a conversation where the judges get to know you. So there's nothing to be nervous about. I would just say for videos, just ensure that you watch it and you give yourself your feedback and lens anything like your eye contact, your, even just like your face. Pay attention to all those little details, because at the end of the day, details make a difference in the final selection for the judges.
Yeah, that was the part where we followed the same rules. We had to edit it ourselves. I felt really bad for my husband because even though we were doing my evening gown, I was trying to, push record, then run back to the spot, then walk the walk. Then, I mean, you were by yourself. So I know that made it even harder. And by the way, I must have watched your video like 100 times because I wanted to get that. I wanted to get something similar. I wanted that feel.
Nice. Thank you.
I loved the background. Like I loved like the way that it looked. I don't know if you were in a hotel or if is that your flat, but
that was my living room. I don't know if you can see my TV in the background. And the bad thing about that room was that there was no actual wall lighting. So it was so dark. And I was just like, I don't have a whole lot of time to record this because it's due like tomorrow. So I was like, but I also I don't think I could wait till tomorrow morning because I'm working. And so I just like tried my best to see what I could do with lighting from the editing software. And then I guess the last component was photogenic for us too.
Right. Yeah. Well, your photo, I mean, everything. I watched everything. I watched your field presentation over and over again. I went, okay, I need to be like Angel. So like, I'm going to do this. And I did the field presentation in one shot, which I think is crazy. And then I just went through and I edited it the way I needed it to. So I got it down to, ours was 5 minutes. Yours was 2.5. I don't know how you guys did 2.5. That's crazy. But I really used that as the format for how I did mine. So apparently your format works because I did okay. So I don't know how close what your competition was. I know ours was 0.07 between me and Anna. So that was pretty crazy. So anyways, so for anybody who's interested in getting involved in either one, either achievement, if you do not have a doctorate and you are interested in that, or if you do have a PhD or an MD, the deadline for doctoral
or a JD. There's so many different types of doctorates. There's even doctors of education. There's so many.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. So, I mean, higher education for the win. Yay! So, all right. So I know that you have competed in some pretty big, like you competed for Canada Universe. You have won the title of Galaxy Canada. So let's talk a little bit. Now my Canadian accent, I'm from Michigan originally, from Detroit. So it will pop out because I'm listening to you speak and then I match it. So I apologize. I'm not trying
to have a Canadian accent.
I do. No, well, I do naturally. It's only little words. It's nothing. Okay. I hear it because I'm used to hearing it from my dad.
Okay.
It's not.
That's so fun.
Yeah. But because I start to like match people, I'll find that's part of my Asperger's thing is like, I'll hear accents and go, oh, that's where I'm supposed to speak. So that it makes you feel more comfortable, I guess. I don't know. So let's talk about, you've won some big titles. This is a huge title. Like what has been the best part about this and what has been like the hardest part about it? Because you've really put yourself out there.
Yeah, I guess I started as a teen. I was Miss Teen Winnipeg back in like 20 years ago. And then I continued to compete in pageants. I did we didn't have a whole lot of pageants in Canada back in the day, but we did have like 3 Grand Slam pageants, which were Miss World Canada, Miss Earth Canada, and Miss Universe Canada when I was of age as a Miss, MISS. So I was second runner-up for Miss Earth Canada, and I was the top quarter finalist for Miss Universe Canada. And I was really proud of that because normally girls who come and compete, they don't always place their first year of competition. And also back in the day, you didn't see a lot of shorties either make it. And there also wasn't a whole lot of resources or coaching to compete. This was back in 2015.
You're not shorty, are you?
I'm 5'5". I think that's nowhere near like, the 5'11", 6 foot girls that normally win, right? So but back in that day, like 2013, I was really proud, and there wasn't a whole lot of women of color either, right? So we do have some women of color that are title holders, but if you actually look at the percentages of the representation, it's not, right? There's still a lot of rooms to go and grow. And that's like for a lot of pageants everywhere, right? And I also did Miss World Canada in 2010 as well, and I was a top 10 finalists for that as well. And then I did Galaxy International as Miss Galaxy Canada, and it was second runner-up for that. And then, recently the Dr. World competition, won that, but it's been great. I think that every single pageant's been different, and it's just really highlighting how each component can refine your skills, refine yourself in so many different ways.
What's the best thing you've learned about yourself from pageantry?
I think the best thing I just learned about myself, and I have to always say this, is just having self-belief in yourself. At the end of the day, regardless if it's a pageant, regardless if it's in a professional situation, academic situation, you really have to just believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're doubting yourself, you're comparing yourself to other people, you're already taking away your power and your ability to achieve what it is you truly desire and you're capable of accomplishing.
Yay. And I forgot to thank you for thanking me or congratulating me. I went right into asking you questions because my brain went to, oh my gosh, we've got to get her through questions before she loses internet. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think that holds valuable information for all of us, is that you learn different things from each competition that you're in. And the most important thing is, I think, walking away with a lesson learned about yourself. I don't ever consider myself competing against other people. Although I will tell you, I don't know if it was like that for you, but it felt virtually just as real as if I were on stage. I know for you, you had a different situation because you had to keep refreshing the Dr. World the Dr. World.
It didn't work on my computer, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. I didn't even play. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. And I think I sent Anne an email just being like, oh, like, what picture was used? Like, maybe it was the photo that I used. Like, I don't know. And then, like, she's like, my screen's working just perfectly. And she like screenshotted it. And then I felt really embarrassed. And that's how I found out I won.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. So then it was double surprise. You shouldn't have been embarrassed. That's so cute. I mean, that's adorable, honestly, because like that, you get in that place where you're like, oh man. Well, and then you start second guessing yourself, I'm sure, because it was down to Anna and I, and I was like, okay, Anna's got it. Anna's got it. And then they called my name and I went, wait, what about Anna? Hold on a second. And so it was nice that she got to be Achievement USA. So I think that was fantastic. So we're happy. We're having fun. I mean, I don't know. Have you had fun doing all of this? This has been so crazy. Like, again, with it being virtual and everything being online and the world being a whole different place. But I know you got to go on the Pageant Project with Adrian and got to do PJs. And I know you were on a show in the Philippines as well. And then obviously with India, like, I think that is phenomenal because in Asia, and they look at pageantry so differently. And I think that is really the place we want to be able to get known, because they revere their queens. Like, you are royalty. So how did that feel doing interviews in the Philippines and then also in India as well? Because they love their queens.
Yeah, I just worked really hard to reach out and create those connections. It has been challenging because obviously the lockdown, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities. So I think just created as many opportunities as I could with the time I did have. So.
Yay. All right, so let's do some fun stuff, silly stuff. We're going to do this or that, which it's just, what do you like, this or that, and why? So the one that we always ask first is chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
And why?
Oh, I have to say why? Okay, I don't know. It just tastes so delicious.
Okay. And then heels or flats?
Because they look great on stage.
Oh, gosh, I can't walk in heels, which is obvious for my video. Okay. I clearly need to have some coaching. So at some point we'll have to sit down. You can, make sure that because your walk is stellar. Oh my gosh. All right. Do you prefer makeup or as no makeup, chill as much as you can?
Makeup. I'm such a glam girl.
So when you go in, because you work as a pharmacist or you work for a pharmaceutical company?
So I am a registered pharmacist. I've worked in many different areas of pharmacy. I worked as a pharmacy manager for 7 years in a community pharmacy. I worked in a hospital pharmacy, in adult inpatients. I worked in pediatrics. I also currently I'm in a senior director role. So it's and so pharmacy and pharmaceutical are two different fields actually. So pharmaceutical is more so like manufacturer, pharmaceutical manufacturers, whereas a degree in pharmacy is for like a pharmacist license. So I have a pharmacist license. However, I work as a senior director now of pharmacy. And so I've always been interested in leadership. So although I've had so many years on the front line, as I mentioned, I'm a feminist, right? I want to be able to be seeing more women in leadership roles and pursuing careers with responsibility. And so that's kind of why at the moment I'm working as a senior director of pharmacy right now.
Changing the world using a crown and a sash. Oh, hello, Michelle. Or
Hey,
Michelle,
Michelle, that's our Dr. Canada.
Yay! Thank you. Oh my gosh, we really appreciate you being here. Lots of love to you too. Thanks for being here and support. All right, so I said heels. Do you prefer to be comfy or do you prefer to be dressed up? Is the glam thing a thing all the time?
Yeah.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, like I'm so not a glam girl. Like I admire anybody that can be. So I think it's so fantastic. I know I picked the wrong sport, right?
I mean, I'm not always like that. There's definitely days where I'm just staying at home and being a little hermit, but if I have an opportunity to get ready, I love to take, a chance to glam myself up.
You do it very well. You are beautifully stunning. So that means
How are you?
Oh, thanks, babe. I appreciate it. So, all right. So you like to get dressed up. Do you prefer, I think I know the answer to this. Do you prefer evening gown or interview?
I would have to say interview. I just like the opportunity to be able to showcase personality and hi Anna, and to also be able to have a conversation. I love talking, so definitely would have to say interview.
Chat for the win. I agree. Hi Anna, I love you. She was at the dentist earlier, so I was like, just log on for a second and say hi. So, because we want to support you too. Like I feel bad that we're at the very end of it and we're not going to get that chance to like build a longer relationship. Of course, it's not going to end because you are the first. So we will always go and look at you and go, yes, ma'am. Please show me how to do this. All right. And last one, let me think. Something silly. Are you like a board game kind of person or a book kind of person?
Definitely board game. I think from all the schooling I've done and all the studying, I'm over all the books and I just want to play games now.
I agree with you. I love you too. Thanks, Anna. Haha. You got to yes, we have to take care of our teeth. Thank you. It's important. That's important to take good hygiene. Oh my gosh, I sound like an idiot. All right. So what can we do to be able to follow you and to find out more about you? And what would you like to share with us that maybe we haven't talked about today at all?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, Angel Bhathal, or you can follow me on my pageant coaching websites as well at Pageant Coach Canada or Pageant Coach International. And one thing you don't know about me, I love Krispy Kreme donuts. I could literally sit and eat a dozen of them in one sitting. And yeah, that's something neat.
That should be the one that I should ask, sweets or savory, because I think that it's one or the other for most people. Gosh, that crown is so gorgeous, babe. You are so stunning.
Oh, you're so sweet. My stones have fallen out, but
oh, no, I hope
you could tell.
No, you look gorgeous. Oh, see, Anna loves donuts too. Anna has a thing for she wants to have them every day. I said, you can, but I don't know if that's good for you. All right. Well, thanks so much. I know you're getting ready to move. I hope that everything is like at least organized. So I know your internet's down, but I wanted to just make sure that I get a chance to say hi and get to know you a little bit better and let everybody else get to know you better. And hopefully we'll see more of you on the pageant stage as we go forward, moving forward. And then, of course, with your pageant coaching, I know you've had some really amazing successes and people place really, really high with you. So I think that that's phenomenal.
Thank you.
To just help support you as well. So if anybody, again, one more time so that everybody knows on all of the socials so that we make sure that we get you, shout outs. One more time.
Sure. Thank you so much, Stacey. So my social media is my first name, last name, no space on Instagram. And then my Instagram for my pageant coaching is either Pageant Coach Canada or Pageant Coach International, all one word. And then my website also is www.pageantcoachinternational.com.
Fantastic. And if anybody wants more information on Dr. World or in Dr. World Productions, or if you want more information about Ms. Achievement World, you can always go to drworldproductions.com, or you can go to Dr. World Productions on Facebook and Instagram, or you can go to Dr. World, which you can talk to Angel, or you can go to Ms. Achievement World and speak to me. We would love to be able to share our experience with you and hopefully bring you as part of the family, because I know my journey has just started, but I know it has already been a magical experience, and I'm sure you can say the same thing, that things are crazy, but because smart is beautiful. Oh, Nancy, I love you. Because smart is beautiful. And I thank you so much, my sweet, for coming on and spending this time with me. And we will see you soon. Hold on one second. I'm going to close out the show, and then I'll just finish up. Thanks, my love. Be sweet.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was so nice to be able to spend some time with Angel and get to know her better, and for you to get to know her as well. And again, I thank all of you. If you haven't already, please follow us, subscribe, share, all of those things. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. This was streaming on 5 different platforms today. So if you're catching it on replay, leave comments. I will comment back as well. And thank you all, because without my crownies, I don't have a reason. I mean, I sit and I get to know really great people, but we want to be able to share what pageantry really is. And it's about the sisterhood and the brotherhood, and just being able to share those moments in between that crown being put on your head and you crowning your successor. So we are grateful for all of you. So thanks very much for being here, everybody. And I will see you next time. That's a wrap. Bye, guys.